And get started. Thank you everyone for joining us on this call. As a reminder, please use the raised hand icon if you have a question, and that way I know to call on you. So we'll go ahead and get started with Brian Sandalo from the Chicago Sun-Times.
Hey, Georg. Thanks for making some time on this day. Just wondering, first of all, why now, considering both it's relatively early in the second season, in Azura's second season, and also with a pivotal Open Cup game tomorrow. Why did you decide to do this now?
Yeah, thanks for the question, Brian. I think it's a fair question. We were trying to analyze properly, and we just said, look, a season can slip away quickly, and we really thought that we had to change now. Now you can always discuss whether we could have waited until tomorrow. There's never a good timing for such a decision. It's always a difficult moment, of course, especially for the ones that are concerned.
Thank you. Next, we will go to Paul Tenorio from The Athletic.
Thanks so much. Gary, I wonder if you could go through kind of looking back on the decision to hire Ezra and what you think kind of went wrong in especially obviously in the last few months, but maybe in the big picture overall the last couple seasons. Thank you.
Thanks, Paul. Well, what shall I say? We were hopeful, and we thought that the philosophies would be aligned. And I think in the past few months, we realized that the philosophies were not aligned anymore. And you will understand that I cannot go into details there. I'd like to take the chance to thank Ezra for his hard work and for his dedication. And I can understand that he is disappointed. It is never the fault of one person if such a thing happens. And of course, I'm the first one who is responsible for the results of this club, for the sporting department of this club, and therefore I would not blame it on Ezra. It was maybe the whole situation, the whole constellation that was no longer the one that we considered could be successful.
Thank you. Next, we will go to Alex Calabrese from Men in Red 97.
Hey, Georg, thanks for taking the time to speak with us today. We really appreciate it. I just wanted to ask, your contract's up at the end of the season. Did that factor into this decision at all? And how involved would you say you're going to be in the search process, given that you don't know if you're going to be here next year yet?
Thanks for the question. It had no influence at all. My job is to do the best, or to do what I think is best for this club. I only think about the club and not about myself in such a situation. We have announced, as you know, that Frank Klopas will be our head coach for the remainder of the season, and then we'll take it from there and see who will be there, who will be here to decide on the future head coach.
Thank you. Next, we'll go to Jeff Carlisle.
Thank you. Hi, Georg. In what ways, I mean, do you think that Ezra was coaching the team any differently this year than he was, say, last year? I mean, did you sense a shift in tactics and the way he was relating to the players, in the way he was making decisions, any of those things?
Well, the only thing I can say is that you also saw that we dropped a lot of points in the last minutes of the games, or in the last 30 minutes of the games, and this is something that was more and more concerning for us. That's one thing. Whether ultimately this was because of due to coaching decisions or not, that's hard to say. But everyone in professional sports will always be assessed because of results, due to results, and that concerns me, but that also, of course, concerns any head coach in professional sports.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Next, we will go with Joe Chatz from On Tap Sportsnet.
Thanks, E. Thanks, Georg, for taking the time. As always, really do appreciate it. You guys appointed Frank and kept CJ and Zach around. Frank is someone who has lost more games than he's won as a manager in Major League Soccer. Why is he the right person to keep around and elevate to that position? And why are CJ and Zach still with the club at this point?
Short answer is they all know how to win trophies. I strongly believe in Frank's skills as a coach. He has a lot of qualities when it comes to communication. Maybe I also have to add that I really think, and I'm not the only one in this club, I think that we have a team that should make the playoffs. And so we are hopeful that really that Frank can turn the wheel around, and that we will start winning the games. We dominated a couple of games, but we have to close out these games. And I strongly believe that Frank and his team that they can turn the wheel around.
Thank you.
Thank you. As a reminder, please use the raised hand icon if you have a question. And now we will go back to Brian Sandalo.
Sure. Thank you, E. There's a summer transfer window coming up, and you guys still have one open DP slot. And as Alex mentioned, your contract, you're up at the end of the season. Will you be looking for a designated player this summer, knowing that designated player could outlive your tenure with the Fire?
Will I not? I didn't get that right.
No. Will you be going for a designate? Will you be looking for a designated player this summer,
Most probably.
even considering your contract?
Most probably, yes.
Do you think that's a wise move for the long-term future of the club, though, considering your contract situation?
Well, I don't think I need to answer this question, Brian, because I'm not the one who should answer this question, and you know this as well as I do.
Thank you. Next, we'll go with Russell Wifey.
Thank you very much for your time, sir. First of all, I want to find out why, after selling Durant to Aston Villa and Solanani to Chelsea, Chicago Fire is sitting on north of $30 million, right? So why has the club failed to invest these huge sums of money into the club? That is my first question. The second question is, fans are agitated about the services of Shaqiri. Personally, how do you feel about his performance? Thank you.
So I'll start with your second question. No, of course, Sheridan is not happy with his performances, and everybody must improve. Every player must improve, especially the designated players. I understand this, but on the other hand, both of them also were injured, which is always a difficult situation for a professional athlete. And if you cannot perform at your best level due to an injury, this hurts. This hurts the team also. That's clear. So everybody must improve, and this includes, of course, Shaqiri. And the first question, I mean, it's not, we're not playing in a European league. We cannot spend whatever we want in this league. And I think that this club has spent a lot of money in the past. And we spent a lot of money for acquiring Durant. Don't forget that the player cost a lot of money when we acquired him. And the plan was not to sell him after one season. The plan was to keep him but sometimes the dynamics in this industry are not to control. We could not say, you cannot say no to a player who can go and play in the EPL. And I think we found a very good striker with Kai Kamara. We found a very interesting young striker with Georgios Koutsias, and we also invested money in Koutsias, for example. So I think that's it's not correct to say that we did not reinvest.
Thank you. Next, we'll go with Larry Hawley from WGN Chicago.
Hello, and thank you for the time today. I wanted to ask you, have you speaking to the players, what was their reaction if you have spoken to them so far? And I'm curious what their reaction was to the change.
Yeah, of course, I've spoken to the players, and I usually say, and everybody will in my position would say the same. What we discuss in the locker room stays in the locker room. But just generally speaking, it's always a sad moment when this happens. That's clear, and don't expect that anyone was happy. But on the other hand, it is also it is professional sports, and there is a huge task tomorrow, awaiting St. Louis in the U.S. Open Cup, and so the players are professional athletes. They have to focus on their duties.
And real quick, if I can have a second, I'm curious. This is the second time since you've been here that Frank has taken over at the manager spot. What are the things that you see in him, or the characteristics that you see in him that make him think not only he's a good fit back then in 2021, but also here to try to get the team back to the playoffs?
Well, he knows the league. He knows the league very well. He knows our players. He's been part of this coaching staff for a while now. The coaching staff is always has a say when it comes to the roster building. So he knows all the players really, really well. He is someone who, likes to speak to the players. He's a positive person. He believes in the players. He cares about people. He cares about his staff. That's also part of the head coach's job, is to care about not only about the players but also about the staff. It's a management duty that he has, and he'll do his best.
Thank you. Paul Tenorio, I see your hand is still up. Do you have another question?
Yeah, thank you. Actually, two questions, somewhat related, but maybe a little bit different. So bear with me. The first would be, was this move done this early, maybe to see, just how good this roster is? Obviously, there had to be some level of maybe thinking you guys were underperforming where it could be. And the second part, when you do make a move this early in the season, it seems to signal, look, we think we can do more, we can win more. Does that set up maybe an aggressive approach in the summer window to try to bolster this team, make signings, trades to make a push for something big? Thank you.
To change the coach early might look a bit aggressive, but on the other hand, you also want to provide the new coaching staff with enough time to also implement their ideas. So that's definitely one of the reasons. Then I think, but that's my personal opinion, that the table does not reflect the strengths of this team. I think we are much better than we look at the moment, which also is a good segue to your second question, because no, probably not a very aggressive and not a very busy transfer window in summer for us, because we believe that this team basically is strong enough to make the playoffs. Of course, everybody knows, as I think Brian mentioned, we have a DP slot open, and we will of course discuss with the coaching staff and see what we can do there.
Jeff Carlisle, I see your hand is up. Do you have another question? Okay.
Hey, sorry, I'm doing two Zooms at once, but I didn't have any more questions.
Okay. Thank you. Alex Calabrese, your hand is still up.
Yes, thank you, and thanks for the second question, Georg. When Frank was a head coach permanently with the Montreal Impact and with the Fire, his approach tactics were pretty different to what Ezra's are right now. Are you expecting a shift in how the team will approach games on the field for the remainder of the season?
He will change things. Every head coach has different ideas. That's clear, and he will change things. But what exactly he's going to change, you will have the opportunity to ask him in a couple of minutes about his ideas. But of course, he will change things because we want to start winning games. We should start winning games, and so we definitely have to change a couple of things. Sometimes it's details. Sometimes it's not that obvious. Sometimes it's details. But Frank is also a very sensitive person, and I think he is a soccer expert, and he will know what to do.
Thank you, Georg, for taking the time to speak with us today. We really appreciate it. And to everyone else on the call, thank you so much. We will be back shortly with Frank Klopas. Started, but as a reminder to everyone on the call, please use the raise hand icon if you have a question. And we will get started with Paul Tenorio from The Athletic.
Hey, Frank, how you doing?
What's up, Paul?
I guess to start off, having listened to George, he felt like, or Georg, he felt like there's more out of this roster than we've seen so far this season. What do you see as potential changes you could make off the jump to try to spark something in this team?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely believe that we have enough quality in a roster that's good enough to ultimately reach our goal, which is the playoffs, something that we said in the beginning, and then obviously a whole new season is beginning. At the moment, I think we also are dealing with some injuries, and it's really short time to try to change too much. That knowing that we have obviously a game tomorrow, some tactical changes, but more than anything, just making sure, especially in such short notice, is that the guys are well prepared. They have a good understanding of the game plan. They know what to do when they step on the field, and more than anything, and just give them confidence and believe in them. I definitely do, and I'm fortunate also that on the staff I have some quality people with me who have spent, some of them, all their careers putting the Fire jersey on, so they know what it means to put that jersey on, and I think they can transmit that to the group and what it really takes to to represent the Fire organization. So I think short term, more than anything, is give the team confidence, make sure that they're really clear about the game plan, very clear about their roles on the field, and more than anything, man, is like we got to go out there and enjoy the game. That's the most important thing. It's a game that we love, and some moments like this, we kind of forget a little bit of those things. But I think you have to bring the joy in, and we have to go and compete and play and with passion and enjoy the game. I think short term, more than anything, those are the things that I can try to focus on.
Thank you. Next, we will go to Brian Sandalo from the Chicago Sun-Times.
Hey, Frank. Thanks for making some time this afternoon. When you took over for Rafa 2 years ago, it was basically just to see out the season, maybe get some young kids some experience. But now there's 2/3 of the season left and a cup possibility as well. So how does that change your mentality as opposed to 2 years ago?
I think it doesn't really change much because I'm in a role that, look, I want to win every game. If I'm whether it was 6-7 games or now it's obviously more than half the season, the club has entrusted me to do a role, and I think that I have the experience over my playing career and also have been a head coach here before in difficult situations, step in and do a job. So for me, I'm going to put everything that I have, all my energy, all my passion. I care a lot about this club, about the city, and I will bring all my experience along with my colleagues that I have. Like I said, I have a really great staff with me, and so I approach it in a way that we have a lot of games left. There's a lot to play for. Obviously, there's no bigger game than tomorrow, an opportunity to advance in the U.S. Open Cup. We take that very serious. This club does. Over the years, we have also myself with CJ and Zach, guys that have won the Open Cup with the Fire, so they know what it takes, and we can transmit some of that focus and determination to the players. But I approach it the same way. I want to do my best job I can, and I want to try to help the team reach its goal, which is being in the playoffs and then continue to do so. But obviously, try to win an Open Cup, another one. With this team, that would be an incredible accomplishment. I feel with some guys that have played together, to be able to be on the staff together and to be able to raise a trophy, that would be incredible.
Thank you. Next, we'll go to Alex Calabrese from Men in Red 97.
Hey, Frank, pleasure to be speaking with you today. One of the big talking points for the team this season for fans and pundits has been the failure to get the most out of some of the big stars like Xherdan Shaqiri and the other DP, Jairo Torres. Is there anything in particular that stands out to you about that situation and how those players can help you reach the playoffs?
I think they're both quality players. I mean, myself having an opportunity to see Shaq every day in training. I mean, the guy's has got so much quality, and I know that a lot of the people haven't seen it in games where he has had the impact that I believe he can. Last year in the season, I believe he started really well. His ability to make passes in the final third and put teammates in great spots to score. I think he was able to do that. I think this is something that he can continue to do. But yeah, I think he understands that, as a DP, there's a big responsibility on him also to contribute, to score goals, to put assists on the field. But it has to be a team effort. He's not the one guy that one piece that's going to solve all the problems. I think he can do his part. I think he can do more. That's for sure. I think maybe there's, got to find a way how, you can get him to have a bigger impact in games. And maybe it takes one game where he has, a breakout game where he's able to do that. But he's got tremendous quality. And myself, I believe in order for this team to move forward and reach the goals that we believe we can, Shaqiri has to play a big part in that, because he's got so much quality that he can impact the game at any given moment. With Iro, the thing with Iro, he's been dealing with injuries, and there's nothing he can do. It's been frustrating for him. It's frustrating for us. When you have a player of his quality and now who missed a big portion of the season last year, and then now he's very close, but he's not quite there yet. I think he's very close where he can become available for selection for the team. But, he's also a player that I think could bring so much to the team. And it's been unfortunate that we haven't been able to have him because of injuries.
Thank you. Next, we'll go to Joe Chats from On Tap Sportsnet.
Thanks, Frank. I appreciate the time as always. You mentioned Xherdan Shaqiri, Frank, and I'm curious if you think there's a possibility this season that you implement an offense with him and Brian Gutierrez on the field together. It's been a big talking point throughout the year. Obviously, health has been an issue for Shaqiri coming back from it, but I'm curious if you see the two of them thriving on the field together. Thank you.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think they're both quality players, and I think it's been really impressive to see. I've been here now, even with Rafa, and Guti was a young player, and then we gave him a lot of playing time, and you can just see his development year after year. And we always talked about him as having a bigger impact in the final third and really maturing and being more consistent in his play over 90 minutes. And man, he's definitely grown into really a difference maker in this league. There have been times even this year where both have played on the field. It's just, at times you see where, you have to see where has Guti been able to be at his best. I think when he plays and he can find space in the half pockets where he can get the ball and turn and face at people, he's been really special. And right now I think there's another element to his game, his final passes, his ability to finish play. He's getting much stronger. So yeah, there's definitely a way we have in the past, and I think to continue to see it where we can put both of them on the best spots for them to be successful, whether that's in a 4-2-3-1, maybe that's in a 4-3-3, where Shaqiri can also be out wide as a winger coming inside in the half spaces, where he's played there before with the national team. I watched a lot of his games, him playing as a 10 and out wide in a 4-3-3. And I think we also have to be more creative and see where we can put the special players in positions where they can be, at their best, because those are the kind of players that the fans want to see. And in the end of the day, I think the fans pay tickets because they want to see a show. Soccer is an exciting game, and we want to see special players. And those two are two very special players there. The fans definitely want to come out and watch.
Thank you. We'll go last question to Brian Sandalo.
Thanks, E. Sorry about that slight delay. Frank, unless maybe I missed this and I apologize, but will you be adding to your staff? I know that you've got CJ and Zach right now. Will there be any additions to the coaching staff?
Well, we have CJ obviously, and Zach, and Jeff DeCrude has been the analyst. Obviously, he's gonna also. I'm gonna ask him to do a little bit more of a role. Then we have Nacho Torreno, who's been a head of performance guy, but he's got a lot of experience also being on the sidelines with different coaches in Europe. So I think, look, if it's just the beginning right now, but I have to assess after this game and see what else do I need to be able to give us the best opportunity to be successful. But I said I have tremendous staff with me. You know, both CJ and Zach and Jeff have done a tremendous job, and Nacho's got a lot of experience. So, and as you can tell, my hair is very gray, so it seems like I have a lot of experience over the years. But yeah, I just think we have to evaluate, Brian. It's the first day. We play tomorrow. It's been not an easy day. Overall, a lot of stuff to deal with, and in the end of the day, you know, look, soccer brings people from all over the world together, and like I've always said, I think the sport builds friendships that last a lifetime. I think our working relationships might not last a lifetime, but then our friendships do, and it's been a difficult standpoint from that part because it is from a human level, you build friendships and relationships, and those two guys are very good people and wish them the best, but we have to move on. And yeah, we just have to evaluate and see, like I said, what else is needed maybe after tomorrow's game and after Saturday's game also, and see what else is needed. But I can guarantee you that the club is committed. We have I've always said that, and I believe it, an incredible owner. We're all very fortunate to have someone like Joe Mansueto at this club who loves the city, who loves this team, and seriously, if it's something that we need that will give us an opportunity to better ourselves and to give us an edge, he will be there to support us all the way.
Thank you so much for taking the time. We really appreciate it. And everyone on the call, thank you for joining us. We will see you all tomorrow after the Open Cup.